by competent organs of the United Nations to investigate allegations of genocide. The Court also considers that the catastrophic situation in Gaza confirmed the need for the immediate and effective implementation of the measures indicated in its orders of January 26, 2024 and March 28, 2024.
Chris Doyle, who's the Director of the Council for Arab-British Understanding and a prominent commentator on the Middle East region. He joins us now from London. Good to have you back with us, Chris. This is a significant ruling from the International Court of Justice ordering Israel to stop its attack on the southern Gaza city of Rafah. What's your reaction to what the ICJ has ruled?
The ICJ's ruling today basically has once again reaffirmed Israel's status as a rogue power. It comes on the back of the issuing of arrest warrants for the Israeli Prime Minister and the Defense Minister as well from the International Criminal Court. And it sees the ICJ, International Court of Justice, basically tightening the provisional measures that it originally ordered on the 26th of January. I think it becomes harder for those states, including my own, the United Kingdom and the US, to be seen as completely backing Israel come what may in a situation when all these judicial bodies are essentially agreeing that what Israel is doing is not just illegal, but profoundly illegal. It's you're getting into a situation of major crimes against humanity, war crimes, and potentially genocide that is being perpetrated against the Palestinian people in Gaza. So it is reinforcing a momentum internationally that's seeing Israel and its allies increasingly isolated and seeing them really up against it because they're accused of double standards and hypocrisy. And that accusation is going to carry more and more weight the longer that these countries ignore what Israel is doing, but worse, continue to provide arms and weapons and diplomatic cover.
Yes, and this ruling, we should remind our viewers, was handed down by 15 judges, including one from Israel. We understand that the overwhelming majority, in fact, 13 judges voted to support this ruling. The two who ruled against were Israel and Uganda. So it does have the support, the broad support of judges from across the world, at least in the International Court of Justice. And we also know that this latest ruling is part of a wider case that's been brought on by South Africa, accusing Israel of orchestrating a state-led genocide against the Palestinian people. We know that the ICJ might take years in order to rule on the substance of that broader case. But in terms of the immediate ramifications, what are you expecting will happen? Because we've seen signs from Israel that perhaps they're simply going to ignore this ruling, as they have done in many other international court rulings. But in terms of the diplomatic pressure that will be applied, do you expect that to perhaps bolster those efforts in order to get Israel to rein in its attack on Gaza?
I think it will help. I think that there'll be countries who, up to this moment, have been a little bit nervous about pushing forward with certain actions, including to impose a weapons ban on Israel. There may be other countries that join Spain and Norway and Ireland in recognizing the state of Palestine as well, although I should stress that recognition of the state of Palestine should in no way be seen as an appropriate answer to what is happening in Gaza. That should actually be done because the Palestinians have the absolute right to have that state recognized, their national rights acknowledged internationally. So I do expect there to be some reaction when you take all of these things in conjunction and then the momentum that's being built up. When we also see the increasing number of reports coming out of Gaza, coming out of Rafah, the fact that Israel has not been allowing the levels of aid into Gaza that are required and for them to be distributed properly. All of this put together means that we are reaching, I think, a climax here. I think that the baby steps for accountability that have taken place so far will become far more significant if Israel does not adhere to these provisional measures. I believe that Israel won't. I think the mood of this government is actually to stand in defiance of the international community. I think we saw the way that they reacted to the prosecutor at the International Criminal Court seeking arrest warrants was to double down and to hit harder, and that they will not be willing to give into what they will see as completely unacceptable international pressure. So it's in for a long run. My belief is that they will continue this ground invasion of Rafah with all the atrocities that we have seen and the massive displacement. I remind you that some 900,000 Palestinians have now been displaced in a very short period of time. That represents, we're getting close to 40% of the population of the Gaza Strip. I mean, it's quite extraordinary, the levels of destruction and displacement that is being visited upon this very overcrowded hellhole that is Gaza.
Okay, Chris Doyle, Director of the Council for Arab-British Understanding. Thanks, as always, for sharing your analysis with us.